welcome to a hot Monday evening.
He's not lying.
It's hot.
He's not lying.
Oh, I know it's hot in your house.
It's hot.
Thank God that the heat goes up.
Right. But the technician will be here tomorrow to try to resolve the issue. So, hey, it could be worse. As I was saying, my wife said, look at stuff going on down in Texas. Our hearts and our prayers go out to them down there. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's almost like Katrina in a smaller scale, if you will. Like it came in suddenly. Nobody had no warning. It just came in and just did what it did. It's really heartfelt, man.
Plenty of prayers for Texas right now. And then, of course, when it involves quite a few children.
Yes.
Yes, because I saw one of the interviews where the guy was being interviewed, and he said he thought he saw a mannequin coming past him, and it was a small boy. Yeah, because that is heart wrenching.
There was one guy who said his grandkids were there the week before for the first session. They were supposed to stay, but they had to pull out. And he is grateful to God that they weren't there, but he's just hurt by the fact that their friends were still there.
Yes.
And passed away. So it's just crazy, unfortunately. And there's more deaths probably to come.
They're up to 90 now, I think.
90.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So we praying for Texas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But welcome to another show tonight. We're excited. 3 men are back together. 3 men who love the goodness of the Lord. Unashamedly, we just love talking about his goodness, his grace, and his mercy.
Yes, God.
So welcome to our family and friends who can tune in each week. We're grateful for you. Without you,
we cannot do this show.
Exactly.
Definitely. I don't even know how many people on the who's watching right now, or one of you. No. Did you see that the CONCACAF Gold Cup final yesterday?
We're not going to talk about that. That's another story by itself.
Do your thing, man. Do your thing here. Do your thing.
Do your thing, man.
Okay.
That's more important.
Okay, then. USA lost 2-1. Oh,
I did that thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Please push them buttons. All them buttons that you can see that says subscribe, that says like and share. Continue to press them buttons because we love you. The 3 Christian brothers love you. And we'll always enjoy the feedback that you give us. And we'll give us our opinions.
Whether you like them or not.
But
and we know some folks just don't like them. Some folks just don't like them. Now, don't talk about the U.S. losing the finals 2-1 because remember, England didn't even get to their finals.
Oh, we're talking about the CONCACAF Gold Cup here.
I know we're talking about
the CONCACAF Gold Cup
here.
Here.
Euro final, did they?
Huh?
Was it a final between Portugal and France?
You sound like them commentators, Alexis and Donovan. They such bad.
Portugal and
France? They lost because they only had 2 players who were whatever. Yeah.
I'm just saying. We didn't lose 2-1.
2 years in a row?
Yes.
Woo.
But something he didn't say that could happen. Birmingham may be coming up the Premier League. It's possible.
Premier? No, they're going to champion. They're not going to Premier.
Listen to what he's saying, sir. If we get, he was saying that winning the league championship now, we could go up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sound like a Dallas fan who's going to win the Super Bowl.
And then I can't wait to see those 2 guys play against Aston Villa. I want to see that rivalry. I want to see it so bad. I want to look. In the words of Hamilton, I want to be there in the room when it all happened.
I'll tell you this right now. If that happened, Simon would not be able to sleep for at least 2 days before the game and 2 or 3 days after the game. He'd be like,
depending on the result, of course. But anyway, yes.
Yeah.
That is
but
so
people don't want to hear nobody wants to hear our football talk, unfortunately, even though we love the game of football. When I talk about American football, we're talking about the world game football, footy, the great game of footy. We just love it. Monday we have to have a show and explain to people why I know we had American football versus the world football, but we should explain the ins and outs about football because I don't think people really understand the game.
No, not the
No.
dynamics of it. Nope.
So, but one thing we got to, but right today,
But I will say this though. Wait a minute. July 4th. It's like happy July 4th to everyone and who enjoyed their holidays. But July 4th was also Rachel and I's anniversary,
oh,
which was 38. Yes.
did not know that. Very nice.
No one else did either. Don't worry about it.
We would have sent you. We would at least.
I
would at least
completely
sent you happy
forgot. Look,
anniversary.
I knew it. And I completely forgot. I was like, Sunday ago.
Wow.
Oh
Because
man,
it's a holiday. Everyone's thinking about the holiday. What we
Wow.
gonna do? Yes.
Well, congrats.
You're
Yes.
welcome.
Congrats.
Right.
Congrats.
So
Well,
tonight is
we
part
spend a lot of
two.
time on things. You got to get to the show because we have a lot
Right.
to talk about.
This is part
Go
2
ahead.
of continuation of last week.
Political unrest. Political
That's right.
unrest. We're talking
Political unrest.
about.
Because a lot of you had a lot of comments and you brought about some interesting thought. And so we're going to pick back up from that. I mean, one of the things Simon was talking about earlier about the political unrest, how FEMA has pretty much been moved out of the situation.
Yes.
Well, they could have been instrumental. All this flooding has been taking place.
Well, they're not
Okay.
out yet, right?
Okay.
Because they were talking
But-
about, unfortunately, they were talking about them disbanding FEMA.
But I haven't heard anything about it.
Asked the question on the tarmac,
Mhm.
and he says, "Well, they're busy right now. We're not going to get into that. Blah blah blah." He didn't want to commit to saying that's a needed function of the United States of America, and we are not going to touch their jobs because they're needed. Because things like this happen,
Mhm.
and we need people on the ground to help. Even though there are good citizens across this world, right? Across this country, but you want to have a group that is dedicated to disaster relief.
Absolutely.
You know,
And
so
see, I don't
that-
have the true facts on this, but I did hear a guy on the radio talking about how in Texas, one of the ones who's one of the chief meteorologists who was supposed to issue the warnings, he was part of that group that got let go.
yeah, that was
so-
different, right? That's that was
Part
a
of that whole that organization was let go, so there was nobody there to even issue warnings because that job was abolished. So that's political unrest right there.
yeah. So let's get it. Let's look at that picture, right?
Right.
There are certain people, meteorologists, who are there to talk about climate change and
Right.
to inform the government officials and things about weather patterns that you may want to be worried about. Well, that was one of the things that the Doge actually downsided. And so a lot of those folks that were in that federal government group were let go in that area. So there was no advance warning. Now, people want to say, oh, this was just a flash thing. It just a bunch of things happened and it converged and this and anything. But even if you have a day warning, that could save lives.
Exactly.
And that is where let's start with that. Let's start with the political unrest about the government can't even agree about what jobs are necessary and what jobs aren't. You have the air traffic controllers, you have teachers, you have judges, you have FBI agents, you have all these different groups were cut. What do you guys feel about that? How do you
Well, they had the air traffic controllers losing their jobs. Then at the same time, accidents in the air were happening at the same time. So before, I don't know when that they lost their jobs or if they had a time frame on it. But the timing isn't just it's just whack. The timing period that you're gonna lose your job when you're needed, especially in emergencies like planes in the air, got nowhere to land or crashing. It's but of course the president don't believe in climate change. So,
And see, my question is this: how did they actually pull the data to show that these jobs are no longer relevant? Because they had to be relevant in order for things to happen the way they are. And now you see that you gotten rid of them. Look what's happening. It's like a domino effect. You got rid of this, and now issues and circumstances and disasters are happening.
Because the Republicans believe that there's a lot of people who make a lot of money, but not really working.
But it's not even the Republicans though, right? It was because it wasn't brought to Congress. It wasn't,
It
and that's
wasn't.
what I'm talking about. Political
No,
unrest.
it wasn't.
People lost their jobs because the president and his staff of stooges decided that they're going to create this group that was headed by Elon Musk, and that whole entire love affair is done, but was headed by Elon Musk, and they're going to figure out by some algorithms, I guess that it was, that these people should or shouldn't have jobs. So it
Republicans?
didn't go to Congress. I think that's something that should have went to Congress and it should be passed if we're going to do this. But it
Right.
wasn't.
Right. And that's sad, man. I mean, look, it really makes you upset when you read and when you hear what's going on. And back to a statement I said in the last show, I'm trying to figure out why people are not standing up, especially those in that office. When they see something wrong, they're just being silent about it, just allowing it to happen. My thing is this: if I was in the office and said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, this is not right," but yet they're afraid to say something.
But you wouldn't be in the office then.
Exactly.
What's more important?
No. I'm saying you wouldn't be in the office.
Right.
He had that his first term, and he decided this term he's only going to have yes men. There's nobody. There's out of whatever number of secretaries that are supposed to be working with him, there is not one that is doing the job for the country. They're all doing the job for him,
Yes.
and that's
Because
why.
he wanted yes people. Exactly.
Right? If you had when he had people who said no, Mr. President, or no, that's not right, he fired them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then that's in the news, so you see it. But right now, he has people who weren't even qualified. Like what I
Oh
blame,
man, I'm glad you said that. Go ahead and talk about that. Go ahead.
I blame the House and Congress, or both houses, for not standing up for the American people and putting people that are qualified to do the jobs You're sitting there and you're letting them go through because you're the majority, not because they're the right person.
There it is.
And it's dangerous. We've seen
And
how
because he wants people, he said at the beginning, who are loyal to me. That's what he wanted. Loyal people who actually will just polish his shoes for him even when they're already polished.
And that's the thing that gets me is the fact that they're more important about the job versus why you were elected to go in there from the start. You're supposed to be in there for the people. Meanwhile, you forgot about them. All you're thinking about how you're going to benefit yourself with your fat pockets, whatever the case may be, job security for you. But look at your constituents. They're suffering because you're not doing what you said you're going to do. So I wonder if you're going to be reelected when it's time to be reelected.
some of them are. Some of them not. The political unrest is real in this country. It's not something that we're fantasizing about or thinking about. There is really some uncertainty about people that are in office now, like never before, that have gotten these jobs and are supposed to be for your constituents,
Right.
right? And the problem is that some of them are saying, "I am here for my constituents," but you lied to them to get that position. Right? And now that they're not supposed to see the truth, you can even hold a town hall meeting.
That is hilarious.
I know.
Hilarious.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, okay. So let's go back to the air traffic controllers. That's
Okay.
a great topic. How fearful are you? Or let me put it this way: are you more fearful to fly now
Nah.
than you were during 9/11?
Nah. It's the same because
No.
remember we just flew and we did not stop our trip because of the stuff. We just prayed about it. We just prayed about it. That's what we was like, God is in your hands. And we left it at that because if fear factor had stepped in, we would not have gone. A lot of people have stepped back because of planes falling and so forth and so on, but we did not stop our plans.
But at the same time, cars crash too.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and if you let that fear factor go in, you're not traveling nowhere. Because if that's the case, there's killings, shootings, there's killings everywhere, no matter where you are. And if you want to stay in your house,
Plane can fall in your house.
well, that's actually happened. A plane crashes into houses. So I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah. But when I drive my car, though, I'm driving. Right. Even though there's other people on the road, I'm in control. I see everything I'm supposed to see. I hope. But when you're flying, you are a passenger. You don't know what's going on. And you are dependent upon somebody who is miles away to be trained, ready to go, and be attentive to make sure we don't crash. Or if something happens to the plane, they're intelligent enough to help. And you guys, you live in one of the most dangerous spots in the airport because you have, I believe, BWI, Ronald Reagan, and Annapolis are all in that aerospace. And they were saying that it's one of the most dangerous spots to land. And you had 2 crashes, I think, in like a week span.
within a week. Yeah.
Right? So
Unfortunately.
I understand that we can't be fearful, but I'm not saying are you fearful not to fly, but I'm saying are you more fearful than like I wasn't scared to fly during 9/11. I would get on a plane. I don't care. The chances of somebody else doing this is very rare. So I'm gonna get on a plane. And that's when I was actually traveling for work. But now I'm like, man, like my wife is going to Jamaica, I'll be praying hard. Because when they're coming back, I want the air traffic controller because we are in a dangerous spot too because we have Newark, JFK, and LaGuardia all in the same airspace at the same time.
Right.
I need these people to do well and know what they're doing.
And now that, hopefully she can get back into the country.
Let's go there.
Oh boy. No,
Hopefully she can get back into the country.
Don't get there.
Go there. So, gentlemen, what do you think is the reason why we have to get this real ID, even to fly domestically?
It's all another way of tracking you, man. That's how I look at it. Another way of tracking you.
Yeah, I got the ID already. Yeah.
You got the real ID?
Yeah, I've had it for years. When it first came out, I got it.
It felt like that when I was working at the post office. They say, we're going to give you a scanner, we're going to give you this, and we give you that. Then we find out they got GPS on it. So they don't exactly tell you right away, but you find out. And this is what's going to happen with, all this ID stuff now that you're going to go in. It just reminds me of the post office. They're going to track you. They're going to find you.
It's definitely a tracking device.
Okay, he don't believe it.
He got crickets.
What do you think it is?
I'm trying to figure out how to present this because we all are Christians, we're Bible believers, and we understand that there is going to be a time when the world is going to be tracked.
Absolutely.
Right? They talked about it being under our skin, but it could be right in our wallet. Right? And where they know where you are at all times. And if you are today required to use it to go and fly, they may require it for you to go into buildings. So now they know whenever you hit a certain building, they know where you're at.
Yeah, but in certain buildings like that, just like you said, and I just found out at the Orioles, when you go on a certain level, when you walk through the door, you think you're cool, but there's a camera on there that just took your picture.
Oh, yeah. That's every stadium.
Yeah, not when you come through the regular gate. We're talking about
area because that's probably the boxes.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's probably because it's more secure because you're supposed to have a special pass. You just can't let anybody just walk up in there.
But of course, I know there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah,
that's a given.
Because even on the ship, I was reading the reason why they got so many cameras on the ship is for facial recognition, so they know where you're going around the boat, which is crazy because they have so. It was just like, how did it say it? You think your balcony is private? It's not private. They can still see what you're doing on your balcony.
But then you can go deeper than that and say, wait a minute, you go into the bathroom, you in your room with your wife or whatever. How much do they really?
Well,
they might draw the line. I think they might draw the line with that.
Hey, look,
it's against the law.
Of course it is.
But the truth is, right? Can we? How are we gonna know? Right? How are you gonna know? By the time you know, it's too late.
It's funny you say that because I bought one of those wand things to detect if there's
metal
cameras or something in your room. It's like a laser.
Oh.
So I bought one where you can scan it around your room to see if there's radio devices. Oh yeah. I'm 007. I went and got one of those things. So I said, okay, we can see if it works.
We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
But yeah, you're good. But they don't know about the one on the TV.
Yeah.
That they have, because they do have them in TVs. And I'm not, and folks, Rupert Johnson is not a conspiracy theorist. All right,
Neither
so
am I.
don't think I'm sitting here saying,
Right.
"Oh my God, I am not that person."
Right.
But there has been proven that even the cams they're using right now, right, they could tap into our cams and use them and be able to track us.
That's why when I'm not using mine, I got this little thing right here. Go flip. I kid you not. When I'm not, my camera is flipping. You're not spying on me. No, you're not.
Too late. They got you.
Right now, you got me, but other than that, it's flipped.
That is crazy.
So wait, we got a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
We got a lot of people with some comments. Let's hit them up. First of all, we'll repeat this one. Happy belated anniversary.
Received. Thank you, sir. And your wife. NR, National Republican. She says, my problem is that we all see the consequences, but no one wants to take the responsibility.
And that goes back to what I stated somewhat earlier. Everybody sees it, but nobody wants to take action towards it.
Well, there's a few, but unfortunately, right, we have a few people who are too weak to say, I'm going to vote against it. I still remember John McCain when they were trying to squash the Obama bill.
Yeah.
And he came up there. He was sickly, but he still made it to Congress and he couldn't abstain his vote and turned his thumb down. And that's what I said. I don't care if he won the presidency because he's a real man.
Yeah.
He's about the people. He didn't care. He's Republican. He didn't care about this. And we need some of those Republicans right now who are saying, you know what? For the benefit of the United States of America and the people here, I can't go with this. It may hurt me with my fellow friends. It may hurt me even in my constituency. But the fact of the matter, there are 340 million people in this country, and I don't want 11 million of them to go without health care.
Absolutely.
So my question then is that they had a chance. You said the Republicans had a chance when they just passed this beautiful bill.
The big beautiful bill. There was 5 of them that turned.
That was their chance.
They had a chance. They had a chance to step up and say, we see things in here that just don't quite cut it. They didn't do it.
No, of course.
So a year from now, what will happen is, if it's true what people are saying, a year from now, the deficit will be higher. There's nursing homes are going to close, hospitals are going to close, and you are not going to have anybody point the finger that said, you Republicans. They may point the finger at Trump, they may point the finger at this and that, but they're not going to point the finger at the 5 people that could have turned it but changed their mind because they weren't man or woman enough. And to say, I'm not changing my mind. They weren't John McCain like. I don't care what you say. This is not for America. I'm not doing it. That's the scary part. But okay. So yes.
So our good friend Esther says, concerning our government, the only place I can go and maintain my sanity is I go to the Rock. Bishop's message on yesterday was quite chaotic. I mean, I like that because
cathartic.
Thank you, cathartic. I like that because Bishop's message was on point yesterday. He made me sit there and do some self-inventory. I go,
yes,
it was rich.
It was deep,
very deep, very deep. So thank you, Esther, for reminding us of that message from yesterday.
And definitely we go to the Rock, right? But we have like my message yesterday was this is not your case. This is a perfect example of it, right? We have the Rock, but there's only 14 million of us in this country that have the Rock. There's 300 and some odd million that don't have it or don't know them, and those are ones I'm worried about.
Yeah.
I know I have faith where God's going to get us through. No matter what happens, no matter who's in the White House, God is going to make a way for us. But there are those who don't have that faith. And I'm concerned about those folks too. because there's going to be a bunch of people depending upon Medicaid. I have a young man that we took up off the street. We helped him get his life in order. He's dependent on his Medicaid.
Yeah.
And I hope he's not one of those that lose it, because if he loses it, he's going to have nothing, because he cannot work. He has seizures. He can't work. He can't do those things. So what's he going to do if his check doesn't come in? Well, it's going to be on people like my church to take care of him, because he has nobody else. He has no family. And so those are the folks I'm worried about.
And that goes to the beforehand, where this is where the anxiety starts coming in. And there's going to be more people going to doctors, more people going to the hospital, because all this anxiety that is being built up. And then we pray, and we pray for ourselves, the family, whoever we pray for. And it's just a fighting battle the whole time. And we know that we just have to continually pray.
How are you going to go to the hospital when they don't have Medicaid or health insurance?
But that's what I'm saying. But the anxiety, I mean, we talk about hand it to God, put it all in God's hand. But for a lot of us, we know we got to pray. We still maybe twinkle in between that, but we know we have a God that can do everything. But there's some people who, they just can't. Just like you said, they're not even thinking it that way.
No.
My question is, in Europe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the seniors over there, they have no issues with medical.
No.
So why is it they can adapt that over there, we can't adapt that over here?
Wait, where's that again? I missed that. The where?
Different policy.
When it comes to medical expenses for seniors, there's not an issue for them over there.
Over where?
In Europe.
Well, it's an issue. It's taken care of like ours was taken care of. The same way. When you talk about the major countries, England, Spain, France,
right,
Belgium,
right,
Germany, talk about those major countries, they still have to take care of their seniors.
Exactly.
Some others, right? We took care of our seniors. This is a problem that we're going to have now, is that our seniors, are they going to be taken care of? Most of those won't have to worry. Where seniors won't have to worry is going to be those in-betweens. Right? When hospitals close down in the Midwest or up here, when a hospital closed down because insurance is not covering a lot of stuff, right? So now my bills don't get paid, hospital closed down. Now what happens? Because remember, Medicaid aids a lot of hospitals to keep their doors open because they're paying the majority of the bill. The reason why you pay $10 for your prescription is because Medicaid or your insurance is paying $800 for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So now when that's taken away, those companies, those hospitals that were dependent upon that, they close. So now what happens is your grandmother, your grandfather get sick and need to go to the hospital that used to be 15 minutes away. In the Midwest, we have to go to one that's now 3 hours away. And we know some things, time is important.
Yeah.
The quicker you get to it, the better.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's going to be the issue. Right. That's what we're going to be looking at. All right. Wow.
Reverend Wolf says, unfortunately, many organizational leaders only have yes men. They don't like confrontation. I gotta leave that alone.
But he's right.
No, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying he's wrong.
He's right.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, I gotta leave this alone.
Yes.
No, I agree with him 100% on that one.
No, I agree. No, I do.
But we can't touch it because organization is not just government. So let's go on from there.
Yes.
Okay, I got you now.
Okay, let's go back to Deacon here. The majority of Republicans either feel that the same way that Trump feels, or they're just afraid of losing their own jobs. They're afraid of losing their own jobs.
And then there's a part two.
Yes.
No, that's a different question, but
okay.
Yeah. And well, you could add it afterwards, but why is there no pushback from the Democrats? Yes, but we said that earlier, is that when you're a yes man, it doesn't matter what you say. I mean, even when I'm watching like CNN and the talk shows, and you have Democrats, independents, and Republicans on one side, when you hear one side saying all this stuff, you just want to jump through the TV because you know for a fact you defending this man and you know he's wrong, but you picking a subject where you can discuss and say, well, he's doing this because if he wasn't black, because we need, and you just want to jump through the TV. So, and the bishop said, can't do that.
You can't do that.
I look at it this way. If you're asked a yes or no question and you have to say something else, you can't defend it. But if I say yes or no, is this secure or not? If you say yes, then I must believe you believe it's secure. But if you say, well, what do you mean by secure? What do you mean what I mean by secure? I mean, is it safe for us to go? I mean, that's what I know, that you're just trying to shift or to slide through an answer because you know the right answer is going to go against what your big dog is saying, and you don't want to do that.
Well, that's like you said. Did we annihilate the place in Iran? Did we annihilate it? People will say, no, well, say they took their stuff away. So even if you did, you didn't still get the job because they took 60% of their stuff away. But you knew that, but you're going to go on a talk show and say, well, if the president said that we annihilated it, that means they out of function. They're not doing nothing. And they're scared of us now. Instead of saying, no, it wasn't annihilated.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. They were asked, was it totally annihilated? The answer came back, I don't believe you're asking me that question when these great Army servicemen and women did a great job.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say he didn't do a great job. Is the place totally annihilated? Well, what we believe is that we bombed it perfectly. Yes or no?
I know.
That's what I'm talking about. Is when
the frustrating part. Yes,
right.
That's the part that doesn't help us as Americans believe anything you're saying. Right. Golden Child, salute panel. Salute to you, Golden Child. Thank
Salute to you.
All right.
Sorry, wrong hand.
You know.
James said, hey, Simon, you don't know? What you don't know, man?
What don't you know?
What don't you know, man?
I don't have I mean, are we talking about soccer? No. let me know what you meant, Deke.
Something you don't know, man.
Child, get back. Salute to the chat. Salute again, Golden Child.
Oh, we get you salutes. Salute the whole night.
Oh, here's a big one.
Mark does this. What do you mean?
Does the scanner work?
It's a scanner work?
What scanner?
What you're talking about? The scanner, the thing, the wand.
Oh, it works. Yes, it works. I'm sorry. Okay, yes, it works. It works.
Simon, where is Mark? It must be really hot in that house today.
It's hot, man.
Look, I'm trying my best. I'm trying. I'm here.
You're talking about what scanner? What are you talking about? What scanner?
But the thing is about it, when I leave, I'm drinking a cup of coffee. Oh, my goodness. Oh,
go ahead.
Wait a minute. There's sweat on this. Wait a minute. I never like flying, but if it's the only way to get to my destination, I'll fly. First, Mark and I always pray before leaving the house. And once I get on the plane, I hold on to Mark.
And that she does.
Which is not a bad thing at all.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because
I hold on to my wife.
she feels safe.
That's right.
Because God is number one. Then she feels safe because her husband is right next to her and she's got the arm.
Exactly.
Okay. So this is off topic. This is a question.
Go ahead.
Let's speak the truth, right? If the plane begins to get turbulence and that mast falls down, do you panic, or do you look to your wife and be calm and say, "Okay, get your mask on, I'll get mine on, then we'll help other people"? What would you do?
Since I have not been in that situation, I can't speak. I don't know, because you can say this, but when it actually happens, you're actually totally different.
But he's He's giving assumptions here, and
Right.
we all have assumptions. That's like if
But reality, though, it would be I'll put my mask on first because that's what you're supposed to do, and then you're supposed to help somebody else because you're no good if you can't help. You not help yourself first.
I might not be helping no one because I'll be putting Rachel's mask on first, then put mine on.
See, that's all I'm thinking. I'm thinking I probably would say.
But technically,
No,
Mark
he's
is right.
He's
Yes.
right. But I know if I have, like, if my wife or my kids, I probably would say, get your mask on and help if they had trouble and get mine on. Or I'd be looking at them while I'm putting mine on to see if they're getting theirs on right. But,
Yeah, because if he drops in front of you, you like, put your mask on. Put your mask on.
But not to make light of the situation, because we were
Yeah.
on the plane, we had the exit row. Of course, they
Oh,
come
in
ask a
charge.
question about,
That you the boss.
are you sure you're able to say blah blah? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, if push came to shove, I'm getting my wife off this plane first.
he gonna push her down for what?
well, you know what? I'll tell you this. I was on an exit row, and they're asking the question to everybody. And there was this old guy. At the time, I might have been in my 30s. This was when I was traveling for work. I was in my 30s. The guy must have been 65, 70. They asked everybody, are you able to do this? Are you able to do this? And I said yes. And he goes, yes, I am. Then when the lady goes, you're going to have to do all the work.
Oh, man. Wow.
I just started laughing. He's like, I don't want that. Because that's when planes, you had the space and there was no space before they
man, that's the best part.
He was like, I need to stretch my legs.
Exactly.
But I do agree with Mark at the beginning. When you have never been in that situation, we can talk all we want. Whatever.
But that's exactly what the Republicans say.
Exactly.
They get asked the question, they say, that's a hypothetical. The president of the United States would never do that. That's hypothetical.
What do you mean? Tell the truth?
Right.
Anyway, next question.
She says, this nation has put too much faith in the political system. We must go back to, used to preach his voice, God.
Go back to God.
Go back to God.
God. Hey, you're right.
But it changed once they took it out to schools. Once they took it out to school.
Okay, so when were we ever really a nation built on God? Right? We had
when there's a test in the classroom, God will always be there. When there's a test in the classroom, God will always be there. They start praying before they take those tests.
But we were never. I don't ever really see being a nation built on God. We say it.
We say it,
but we never were. We let hate groups run rampant because there was slavery. Then there was the KKK, neo-Nazis. We let them run rampant and control a lot of area. We let hate crimes go. We let police do their thing. We never were a country that said we have to put God and his values first. We say it, but we rarely kind of follow through on it.
Yeah.
And and like you said, it took one lady, not a nation, one lady to get prayer out of school.
Yep.
One.
So how could we be a nation built on God? They said we want to separate state and church. Well, but that does nothing to do with prayer in school.
Yes, I don't know where that one lady is right now, but she is. But she may have watched that show. So we want to continue to press the like button, press the share button, and subscribe to us because we got a good audience tonight and the questions are great. We still love you. Continue to pray for y'all. In Jesus' name.
And Deacon House says, Overseer, you are absolutely right.
About what statement?
No, I'm right.
Statement, Deke, but I'll
wait a minute, Deke. I still don't know what you were talking about before.
He might be coming. He might be coming.
Oh, okay then. Please let me know.
Anita says,
I pray this nation wakes up.
Yeah, soon come, Jesus.
Okay, so what do we do? Okay, let's go back to Bible, right? What do we do when the nation wakes up and it's the Prince of Peace, not the Prince of Peace, the Prince of Perdition comes in and is taking over the Antichrist, and it makes everything look so beautiful and nice. What do we do then?
Oh, but I just watched that movie. No, you just said that. I just watched the movie. I think what's it
Left
called?
Behind?
Yes. And then there was in the house, and the father was running to put some gas in his van, and the little girl was at the window, just hi 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 hi. And then Tyrese? Was he Tyrese? He jumps out there because he wants to save the little girl. He's hugging the little girl. Then all of a sudden he just says,
Oh, it's a different movie. I don't know that one.
That wasn't Left
No.
Behind. That was a different movie.
It wasn't Left Behind. Someone might miss it. But anyway, he gets the girl. The little girl hugs him and says, "Hey, I know who you are," and bites him on the neck. Deception, just like what you said, though. The one man. Oh, I'll get the movie in a minute. Yeah,
But that's part of what we're hearing all these things happening in the United States, and we also understand that it's Israel. The world, when you talk about biblical things, you gotta look to Israel, you gotta look to the United States, and when you look at Israel, what's going on there, what's going on here, we might have to have a show that talks about the end times because man, things are going crazy right now when it comes to that. Amen, Deacon Hal.
Pray.
Pray. Right, triple pray. You got a fourth there if you want to.
And this is from Not Right. Not to mention, the changes made now are timed up to go into effect after the midterms. Oh, by this time, positions may have flipped, and some short-sighted folk will likely blame the other party.
Well, the blame factor is always going to be there.
Of course.
I mean, they blame each other just sitting next to each other. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your mother's fault. I mean, they get to everybody is that blame factor. Nobody wants, as statement earlier, nobody wants to stand up and take responsibility.
Yeah, no one is, right? The Democrats are going to say it's Republicans' fault. The Republicans are going to say it's Democrats' fault. Where they should get together and say, we're worried about the United States of America. We are voted here. When I got voted in Democrat, Republican. But when I'm sitting here voting, I am voting basically, will this help or hurt the American people? That's what they should be voting on. Not on the color of their tie, whether it's blue or red, not what they call themselves. Are we hurting the American people?
And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Because a lot of things that we're passing or don't pass have either hurt us, right? We send people to war that didn't have to go to war. We're policing a whole world, which is fine at certain turns, but certain times you can't do it. So yeah, there's a lot going on. All right, sorry.
But I think the thing that gets me the most, just based off of your statements, that how can people in this country see what's going on and have no compassion? And yet they still side with the person who's bringing more division. That's the thing that gets me. Are you going to stand up and justify what he's doing is right? If you are a Christian, you should have compassion in your heart to say, no, this is wrong. Whether you've been in office or not in office. That's the thing that gets me. And these are Christians that I see out here. And also, let's talk about Kentucky. The white supremacist groups that are marching now freely, with their flags, but yet they got the face covered, but they're still walking around freely. Stuff like this, man, it's going to show you the direction this nation is headed.
Because it's a buildup. It's just a buildup. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Civil.
Yeah. I think that, the problem that the people have is that some of these folks don't want to change their mind until it affects them. Right?
Yes.
Until you kick me, I don't care that you're kicking that other guy. But once you kick me, we're going to fight. And I think that's what's happening for most of these folks is that they're like, and we know, right? All those Latinos who voted for Trump because they wanted to deport the bad people.
The bad people.
Gets deported, now they're upset.
Yep.
Right. Well, why are you upset? You said you wanted mass deportation. That's what he didn't say he was going to pick and choose. He said he was going to deport people who were legally here. You thought it was only going to be the criminals. Well, no. because now you hear the Republicans talk and they say, if you're here illegally, you're a criminal.
Yes.
And
Basically.
before it was, we're going to get rid of the murderers and the drug dealers. But now they say, well, if you're here illegally, you're a criminal. So we're deporting all the criminals. So now you have to face that fact. So some people don't change until they actually get kicked.
Unfortunately.
Oh, here's Deacon Hal answering your question.
You asked a question about the cameras.
Oh, I did?
You remember you asked a question about, or you were talking about the cameras getting the facial recognition.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Deacon.
And we got an amen.
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 TT.
Cameras in hotel rooms.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Now you're pushing it now.
That says amen.
Amen again. In his voice. Amen. How do you feel about the creation of fourth party system? Just asking. Fourth party.
Is it going to make a difference? Okay. Is it going to change anything other than make one party weaker?
Good point.
Right? Is it going to come in? Because right now, Democrats and Republicans, they don't care about the independents. They try to win the independents.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they're not saying you can be independent. It's like, I just want to win your vote. Because still Democrats and Republicans are so big. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If a fourth party comes in, because there was a fourth party at one time, there was that Tea Party group. But they were offshoots of the Republicans. It just made the Republicans weaker. Is it going to be a difference? So the question I would ask my brother is, will it make a difference? I don't think so. I think it will just make a party or two parties weaker. But let's say they come in sooner or later, are they really for the people? Again, you asked the question, when they get into the House, are they going to be for the people?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they just going to be voting based on what they want to do to be yes men or yes women, or the party line structure? Or are they going to vote for what's best for the people? That'd be my thought.
Yeah.
We missed her above comment. No idea.
Yeah. Above comment.
Which one?
I don't know. We had technical difficulties because I don't see it.
We talked about this one, right?
Yeah, we said that one.
We talked about Bishop's
No.
message.
No, we didn't. We didn't read that.
Yeah, we did, because we talked about
we
Bishop's
did.
message.
Yeah, we're talking about Bishop's message.
Because Mark said chaos.
Oh, yes, yeah. I go to the right. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because he said that word God. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah, we did.
Esther, we didn't miss your comment. Unless you didn't write it. Then send it. Send it again.
Did you hit
the button?
Hit send.
And if we did miss it, could you retype it again, please?
Starts with exactly, Anita. No, we don't have any message that says it starts exactly, Anita.
Nope, we don't have that one.
So resend it.
So to help with those who don't know what the
Yes.
fourth party system is, refers to a period in U.S. political history from about 1896 to 1932, characterized by a dominance of the Republican Party, a realignment of political coalition, and major transformation in economics and social policy. So that's what the fourth party system was all about.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's interesting was dominance of the Republican Party.
But back then, the Republican Party was Democratic.
Exactly. Right.
There were more Democrats back then.
Yep.
At one time, the Republican Party was for the people. The Democrat Party was for the rich.
Yep.
That shifted.
Yes.
Right. Something about it happened down south. I think they said with the voting down south, the Democrats that were slave owners and something like that. Some big switch or whatever. It happened. But yeah. So. Okay. James Howell.
Oh, yeah. This is the end time show question. Was it? This is the end time show question you just mentioned.
Or is that the movie? Maybe it's the movie's name, End Time?
There you go.
End time. Okay.
It might be. Okay. It might be.
Okay. Don't have it send it to us?
Did you miss mine? Read Democrats.
No, she said you did miss mine. RE Democrats. We
Okay,
didn't miss yours either.
right. Okay, either there's something going on with
What?
technical issues because we see the comments as they come in, and if they're not coming in, then maybe something's going on that we don't know behind the scenes. So our viewing audience, we do apologize for that.
Yes.
It is not our intent not to read your comments because if we don't see them, we can't read them.
But we do appreciate you letting us know that we missed it.
Right.
Yeah, we
If
thank
we
you for
did
that.
miss it.
But resend it because
Right.
we don't see it. And you know what? What I'll do? Let me go to. While you guys are talking, I'm going to go to YouTube and see if it came on that. They're both on YouTube.
Yeah, because I don't see the comment that was talking about, but we do again apologize for that.
Let me see.
Okay, yeah, because I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, forgive us. Since we're
Yes.
searching.
So yeah.
But while we're searching, you know, as we're talking earlier about the political front, it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. If anything, it's to me, I think it's getting worse. And I like this comment here from our good friend Deborah Johnson says, "You're being hacked." And you know what? It's possible.
Oh, wow.
It's possible.
We talked about what the governments are doing, right? We talked about
Right, exactly. Oh my goodness gracious.
Hey, anything is, you know, hey, they could be listening in right now. So if we come up missing, you know why.
Well, you'll just find me in England. I'll set up.
Yes, and so both the folks that we didn't see the questions, I went to the YouTube page. I don't see it there either.
I don't see it
maybe
either, and I'll
something on
check.
your end.
I
So
double check.
resend it, please.
Yes.
We
would love to
appreciate
read
it. We don't want to
and
miss
share.
it. So
Exactly.
we apologize for that. Okay, so we have a couple more minutes. Let's talk about some other things that we have to worry about. Prices, right? We had this political unrest because of prices.
Yes.
How are we as Americans? Are the prices affecting us? Do we see a difference in prices? Or are we just because the market was going up? So the market was doing good. The job report was bad, but we as Americans, what are we doing?
Taking out a loan to buy a dozen eggs.
It's taken us 2 months to eat that dozen eggs. 2 months.
That's what we're doing.
We ain't wasted no eggs. But even if you look at it, like gas prices, because it seems to go up, then comes back down. I don't know how much it is in Newark, but where I am right now, it's $3.09.
With gas prices?
Yeah, it's $3.09. But if you come off the Beltway, you look at like $3.49. If you come off the Beltway and hit the gas station. So that's just one subject. So,
but are you nervous about the possibility? Because even Trump's
yes.
they talked about the tariffs going up again if you don't have a conversation with them, and that's a bunch of malarkey too. These lies that are coming that we're not. These guys aren't talking to anybody. But are we nervous about that? Because that's
the
unrest.
thing is, but the thing is this: if you look at it, the more the media instills fear, the more the anxiety is going to be. Because again, there are things that are going to be out of your control. You just have to deal with it the best you can. You just have to readjust your lifestyle. It's going to hurt, but you just have to readjust. Because I can go crazy, but listen now because the price is going up. What good is it going to do? It's going to cause my blood pressure to go up.
You can't do nothing because it's
Yeah, but I see what you guys are saying. But again, I'm worried with the person who doesn't have Jesus. It's easy for us because we have Jesus. We say, well, depending on Jesus. But the people don't have Jesus and are living on really limited income. Where, like you said, the price of eggs, if I can't buy eggs for somebody, what am I going to do?
Exactly.
But that's like, my daughter, Simone. She was baking. He can't get his snickerdoodles because the prices have just got, she needs eggs. She needs all she needs for baking. And before, she was making the cakes, making the cookies and everything, but has to slow down because she also has 3 children
Yeah.
and a husband. So
in our food pantry, right? The biggest commodities are eggs and oil. When we get eggs and oil, man, people are just yelling.
Yeah.
Did I get my eggs? Did I get my oil? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Those commodities. I'm sorry. We don't have a lot of time. Is Ken missing? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, he's
You
there.
should know,
He's
though,
there.
Larry. You
He's
should
there.
know,
He's down
Larry.
here.
Dad, no, Dad. No, Dad. You won't come up missing. Ain't nobody messing with my daddy.
All
I
right.
got a ninja daughter.
And don't mess with my uncles either. We got you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. That is funny.
The price, yeah. The price of
Yeah.
beef is crazy everywhere. Like this is
Which
what
is
you were
true.
saying,
We
right?
just said that. Yes, sir.
Watch the media.
Oh, he was he typing up for last time. Does anybody really need eggs to survive? Really? It's not a matter of really surviving.
Here, Larry was so good for the first
Yes, he was. And
one. Now he comes up with this one. Larry, no one needs eggs to survive.
No.
We don't need a big house either. We don't need a $50,000 car either. We don't need Nike sneakers. We don't need anything other than the basics. But when you can get them, you want to be able to afford them, right? So I would like to be able to get eggs if I want eggs. Because at one time I could. I want to be able to buy milk. Buying organic milk now is a joke. A gallon of organic milk now was almost $12 here in Georgia. I don't know about down there.
I don't buy it, so I don't know.
I'm sorry, but tell a bakery you don't need eggs. Please. Tell someone who just that's their job. You don't need eggs. Exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh. No pancakes, bro.
Tell a restaurant. Tell any restaurant you don't need eggs.
So it could be a 50-50 question on both ways. So yes. Yes.
Okay.
And
you have read it here.
And Anita, you're not gonna be the only one.
So Debbie's asking, what do you think about the government naturalizing naturalized citizens? It's the stupidest thing in the world, and it's going to break us. It's going to cause civil war. That's what I think.
Which at the same time, I'm looking at myself, and I know what you're saying, because we did talk about that in our house. Denaturalizing naturalized citizens. And we know where they're going with that, because they're not denaturalizing, help me God, people from Switzerland or Norway or anywhere from, see where I'm going with that. But but anywhere else you go to a different country, that's where that's where they're hitting.
Right. And on that note, we want to thank you for another fun show. Wow, it's already 8:29 and a half seconds. So join us next week where we can continue our conversation with something else. Don't know what we're going to talk about yet. Yeah. We'll get together and think about what we're going to talk about. Until then,
talk about the Larry Show.
Hey, stay tuned. You might hear us say,
"Yo,
you're welcome."